smoking, but when they hear this song, they'll learn there's more to toking. 25,000 different things we can make from it, and if we give it a chance, we'll save the blinking planet. Food, fuel and medicine, necessities for life, a benefit to all of us, I wonder and delight. Within this smelly weed, there's more than meets the eye, so much, much more than smoking, it can cleanse our dirty skies. Cannabis, cannabis, we'll save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis, cannabis is a very useful weed. Cannabis, cannabis, we'll save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis, cannabis is very good indeed.
Right, Mercury must have gone retrograde or something like that. This is Steve from London, Hemp Works. Yes, it does. On the Time of Hemp Global International Fantastic Network. Yes, it is. Because Mercury must have gone retrograde, or as the sun is now travelling to the other part of the world and the days are getting shorter. We had a lot of technical issues tonight. Sharon, we've got hold of you at long last. How are you doing?
Hello from Humboldt County, California.
Humboldt, California. And how's the weather looking down there today? Are you having nice weather in California?
Well, the sun is trying to peek through, but we've had a bit of rain, which is good because California, as you know, is in a serious drought right now. So a little bit of rain is good.
Yes, they're sort of trying to blame that on all the dope growers as well, aren't they, silly people?
Well, they blame a lot of things on the medicine makers and the medicine growers. This is true.
Yeah. Yeah, anything other than take responsibility that they just didn't work out the water tables and water levels. As long as it's somebody else's fault. Oh, pick on the pot smokers. They're causing a drought by growing marijuana.
Yeah, for me, it's a matter of education. It's just a matter of time till things change. That's how I feel.
So, Sharon, right, listen, your CV, right, you've just got back from France. You went and met my friend Farid. I hope he showed you, was very nice and showing you the chanvre in France.
Oh, he is a gentleman and a cannabis scholar. He really is.
Oh, absolutely.
I had a wonderful interview, and it's on the way to press right now in Dope Magazine out of Seattle. I've been doing my road trip series for 3 years, but it's been in the magazine for about a year.
Wow.
And, yeah, it's been fun traveling and meeting medicine makers and advocates and patients and helping people along the way. It's been a good trip.
I mean, as you know, anybody that is promoting or even talking about this plant is on the right side of the track. But people like Farid have been really doing some sterling groundwork for many, many a year. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's like beating your head against the wall sometimes because the 40-year plus negative stigma is so great. But, you know, I'm a patient now. I started out in the 70s in Southern California as a stoner. I didn't realize at the time it was beneficial for me to smoke because I'm underneath that autistic spectrum. And I have, you know, issues with depression and hormonal issues. I have thyroid disease and, you know, all kinds of things that are very common these days in our poisoned little planet.
Well, as Bob Melameda rightly put it, cannabinoid deficiency.
Yeah, we are cannabinoid deficient. We can clearly say that. So, but it wasn't until I came down with breast cancer a couple summers ago that I had talked to Dr. William Courtney. You posted something about him the other day. I did.
Yeah, he's a really amazing man, isn't he?
Yes, he is. When I first started doing patient profiles from Humboldt County here and writing about cannabis as medicine, he had my ear for about 2 hours one day on the phone trying to make me understand that the raw plant is the pure, strongest medicine you can get. But not everyone, you know, can get the access to the leaf. It takes a little bit of networking. But anyway, when I saw that in the mammogram that I had lobular carcinoma, it's a spiderweb mass, it's not a tumor, I immediately began ingesting the green leaf because I remembered, you know, what Dr. Courtney had told me. And in 5 weeks when I went in for the biopsy, the spiderweb was gone, but the target point was still there. And the oncologist was very surprised and said, "Do you want to go ahead with the biopsy?" And I said, "No, I think I'd like to buy some time." And I bought another 5 weeks of time and started ingesting the strong oil, otherwise known as the Rick Simpson oil or the
extract.
In the 70s, we used to call it honey oil. We used to smoke it, but it's a very strong concentrate of this wonderful medicine. So I started doing the oil, and I kept ingesting the leaf. And by the time the second biopsy was scheduled, it was completely gone. And so that was good news. And then in the meantime, because I had been juicing leaf, I had been on like 8 prescription meds. I was a mess physically with thyroid disease and then menopause, which is considered an epidemic in the boomer generation because of all of our toxins. And so all my thyroid symptoms started falling away. My digestive was fixed, and I had some serious digestive issues for 13 years or more with thyroid disease. And everything went away. So now it's my only medicine. I juice the leaf, or I blend the leaf in the blender every day. I take the concentrated oil at night to sleep. I make tonics out of alcohol with gin and rum, and my cocktails in the evening are medicated. Just any way I can get the plant inside me to feel better every day is great. Yeah.
Well, Sue, that's you and me both. People know my story, so I won't bother going over it again. But I was end-stage liver, and I went to India and done raw juicing on the leaf.
There you go.
That pretty much worked for me. And then I took the same path as you. Came back to England, still had a bit of work to do, so I went on the extract. And I still take some every day, and I'm getting better and better and regenerating. And thank God for cannabis. Oh, thank Goddess for cannabis.
Yes, thank God. It is God's plant. It is the original medicinal.
Goddess. Goddess. I much prefer the Goddess.
The Goddess.
Yeah. The Goddess. Yeah. God said. I think that the male architectural God has definitely needs putting back in a box for a bit. And of course, the plant that we're using is mainly from the female strain anyway. So let's go Goddess road. Now, so look, both being sort of healthcare professionals and both being media people, I think you better explain how you juice this stuff a little bit more, yeah? Okay. Because really I know what you've done, you know what you've done, but I think we've got about 2.4 million people out there that might not know what you've done. And I also find it's a very, very interesting subject. Yeah.
Well, you can find my essays online. If you Google my name and juicing or cannabis or whatever, you can find a lot of essays online on how-tos on how to do this, because I also do my own photography, so I shoot my process. And what I do, it's really easy. You just take a handful of leaves, literally, and put it in the blender. I don't use a juicer. I use a blender. It's a poor man's juicing, and because I need the roughage for my digestive issues.
Absolutely.
I want the whole plant. So I just put a handful of leaf in the blender. I add some coconut water or some beneficial juices like aloe vera juice or, something like that. Add a banana, some fruit, what have you, and just blend it up and drink it every day. And it writes everything.
So do you have access to hemp seeds from the health food shop?
Well, hemp oil and hemp products are widely available here, but, sadly, we have to import them all. That's changing. We're being allowed to grow hemp now. It's going to happen slowly, but it's happening again, thank goodness.
Yeah, thank goodness. It'll take them about 3 or 4, maybe 5 years to get their act together, but they're on the road.
Colorado went ahead last year and grew a crop of hemp. Someone grew a crop of hemp. So they're on it. Colorado's on it. And it's happening more and more. All the states are going to be growing hemp again, and we're going to have all those nice, wonderful products being made again by a sustainable plant. So that's
and of course, you being in France, I'm sure that Rafid pointed out that France possibly has a 600-year uninterrupted hemp industry.
Yes. I'm fascinated by hemp in France because everyone I talked to, I interviewed pharmacy people, I interviewed people on the street, I interviewed patients, I interviewed stoners. No one really knew that their own country grew hemp in the first place. It's not widely discussed.
Do you speak French?
I don't. I had a translator with me.
Okay, you have to be very careful in France because medical cannabis and cannabis for recreational has a completely different name to what we know as agricultural hemp.
Right,
and if you speak to French people about cannabis, they get a bit woo, right? Yeah. But if you speak to them about especially around the Loire Valley, then they all know about that. The schools know about it, because it's part of their history.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
my stories about my experiences in Paris and France will be in Dope's travel issue for July. It'll be out soon.
yeah.
And it's just really curious, but because everyone I talked to, I was able to educate them in the same way I do in the States here about medicine, about hemp. I mean, until the words come out of my mouth, our mouths, I call it evangelizing cannabis. And so everywhere I go, it's all a matter of education and sharing. So even in France, I was able to tell a soap maker by the Eiffel Tower who had every medicinal herb in her soaps, even opium
Yes.
was represented on her table. Yet she didn't know about hemp, and we did use the French word, and they immediately made jokes about getting stoned. And so I said, no. So I was able to explain to them. So I know at least one soap maker in Paris that will probably be including hemp in her soap soon enough. So that's
Fantastic.
a good,
There was a soap maker in Marseille, and it is the very famous block soap of Marseille, and that used to be Chambre.
Oh yes, I bought some while I was there. I love that block soap.
That's beautiful soap. That is. That's really. They've been doing that for hundreds of years down there. It's a very traditional soap maker.
French soaps are lovely. French soaps you can wash your hair with. They're so clean.
Yes.
We really don't use liquid shampoos. That's really bad for the water system.
No.
So, yeah.
Anyway, going back to just dropping back into the hemp seed, can I make a suggestion, please, Sharon? Look, if you go and buy some hemp seed from the health food shop, and if you drop those into the blender, when you're making your juice, you'll make some hemp seed milk, which is a really good base for all the juices that we do.
Okay, I will. I'll add that. I haven't really been, aware or used the hemp because, I'm in Humboldt County and this is the cannabis capital of the world. And so I have trim to make medicine with. I have leaf to blend, and I have flower to smoke. So, but the hemp product, I will definitely look into that more.
Try some hemp seed in there. About a handful of hemp seed.
Well, I covered the Hemp Fest in Seattle last summer. That was the first legal year. It was very exciting, and there were many hemp products there. And I did eat some seed. I did have a bunch of products someone gave me. So
the milking with the bud, it really facilitates even more healing if that is possible.
But until hemp was taken off the market here in the U.S. in around 1942, the oil was used as a base for more than 250 medicines. I mean, that was the oil base. That was the oil base. Well,
believe it or not, not just medicines. I have an old tin from the Harley-Davidson Motorcycle Company, which was hemp oil for the gearbox.
Oh, yes.
It was the oil for lubricating things. So it wasn't just medicine.
They used it industrially, and it's beneficial for medicine. And the whole issue with THC. The holy anointing oil that Jesus was said to have used from the Bible measured in very low for THC, but it was necessary and it's beneficial. We have hybridized it, starting from the mid-'60s, probably right here in Humboldt County, to have the high THC. So that's really recreational. Now, Rick Simpson swears that you need that high THC for the oil to really knock you out and to help your body heal. And, Professor Mahood in Israel, found in 1964 that THC is beneficial. But the question is, how much do we need? And if it's too much in there, it does affect our central nervous system, and it can cause anxiety. But it is necessary. I personally can't get to sleep at night unless I have the high THC oil because I'm so used to it now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this whole full plant extract. I believe that people that are selling out just for the CBD strains only are selling themselves very short.
Well, it depends. I mean, the Charlotte's Web out of Denver, the Stanley Brothers created, it does have THC traces. I mean, when you say no THC, that's inaccurate. It does have traces. It is beneficial. It is necessary. You just don't want to be sitting there totally wasted and looped out when you're using it as a medicine for real illness. Yeah. And I help people all the time, conservatives and Republicans alike, write to me from all over the world when they're desperate for, when traditional therapies are failing them. And so, but many of these people are not used to smoking. They're not from that culture. Right. They don't want to get stoned. So I'm looking forward to the low THC oil. I'm looking at 5%. We have a 5% strain being grown in Humboldt right now, and a medicine maker is going to make me some this fall. So I'm really looking forward to that. Because, I dose my animals, too. Dogs and cats are biologically the same as us. Yeah. And I had a cat who's featured, actually, Mingus, she was featured as Patient of the Month in Dope Magazine last month. It's online right now, a beautiful picture of her. And she had an abscess on her face, and I immediately, used the oil topically on her, but then I dosed her. And I couldn't get enough medicine in her with the high THC to really take care of her infection. So I ended up, having an antibiotic shot given to her anyway. But, the oil helped with waste away. It helped with her pain. I'm at 15 years of age, I'm convinced she may have died with the way that thing looked. But I think, giving her the RSO with everything else really helped her. But again, the THC is just too high.
Yeah. So. Obviously, this is right. We're going to take a break there, Sue. Okay, so stay online, and we're just going to pay the bills with our lovely sponsors. Take it away, Casper. At some point today, Casper will press the big red button.
You are listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Please share us with your friends.
THCF Medical Clinics are the premier physicians clinic in the United States. THCF has offices all across the United States from Hawaii to Michigan. THCF Medical Clinics has helped approximately 150,000 patients obtain their medical marijuana permits to legally possess, grow, and use medical marijuana. If you have chronic pain, multiple sclerosis, or any other neurological degenerative disease, or if you have any gastrointestinal disorders such as GERD, irritable bowel syndrome, or if you have AIDS, cancer, spastic disorders, seizure disorders, or glaucoma, call us at 1-800-723-0188 or visit us online at hemp.org. Again, the number is 1-800-723-0188 and the site is hemp.org.
In need of a ganja vacation? Blaze away.
Don't criticize it.
Hotbox Jamaica. Chill. Relax and burn all day while watching the amazing ocean view. Listen to the birds. Bathe in the mineral waters of the Ganja River. Munch on tasty Jamaican Rasta food. Take a weed farm tour and hold a meditation. Book this amazing vacation for $420. Get the Sativa Special. 7 nights in Sativa dorms with ganja meals and airport transfer. Check us out at hotboxjamaica.com. That's hotboxjamaica.com. Hotbox Jamaica, a higher meditation vacation.
Indigrow is your source for affordable induction grow lighting. First discovered in 1891 by Nikola Tesla, Indigrow lights deliver 11 years of electronic sunlight to your plants. Indigrow lamps require less than half the power of traditional HID lamps. Converting to Indigrow lights means you'll cut down on your power bill with less lighting. Indigrow lamps also use 5 times less mercury than traditional fluorescent or HID lamps, making Indigrow not only energy efficient but environmentally friendly as well. No more switching out lamps between vegetative and flowering stages. As nature intended, your lights get a steady dose of UV light. That makes your plants grow healthier and stronger. Indigo products are manufactured in San Diego, California, and come with a written 10-year warranty. What Tesla knew, then growers know now, is that Indigo lighting is the cost-effective addition to your victory garden. To learn more or order now, go to inda-grow.com. That's INDA-GRO.com. Or call 877-452-2244 to answer any of your questions. These guys really know lights. Indigo really is your sunlight in a box.
Education and information. See what all the buzz is all about. It's time for hemp. It's time for hemp.
Yeah, and it helps to ease the pain. And if you're feeling down, my friend, it'll pick you up again. Cannabis, cannabis will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis, cannabis is a very useful weed. Cannabis, cannabis will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis, cannabis is very good indeed.
Time for Hemp Works, and I've got Sharon, Elizabeth Letts, and I didn't really introduce Sharon very well when she first came because we were all running late and things. And right, look, Sharon, she's written for virtually all the best magazines that I know of: High Times, the High Times Medical Journal, Skunk Magazine, to name but a few. A new one that I'm not familiar with yet, which is called The Dope Magazine, Defending Our Patients Everywhere. I like that name, that's quite good actually. And Sharon's been sort of writing about all things cannabis and hemp related for a number of years. So right, would you like to pick up on that, Sharon? And one of the things I noticed that you've been profiling the strains in California, which is an amazing thing to be doing, I think, because that's the information that we need now, isn't it? The delivery methods and different strains.
Yeah, I'm all about delivery. I'm not really a strain reviewer. I'm not really a stoner writer. I'm actually from television. I started out my writing career in television in Southern California, doing documentary and magazine shows. I was a field and segment producer, and I wrote, and I was brought up to Humboldt County to produce a news show for a newspaper up here, so I kind of went backwards and started writing for newspapers. And then because I was in Humboldt County and had my breast cancer experience and used the oil, and now it's just my medicine 24/7, I'm writing a lot about delivery methods, because that's the main thing. People don't want THC, they want delivery methods with no psychoactive, and so in my travels, I try and educate and share what I do, and then I do patient profiles where I can explain what they're doing, because education is a matter of sharing, because if you just, look at the stigma of the past 40 years of this plant, it's all negative. So only the patients who actually use it themselves can really share and help people to learn, and then help people feel better, because really, when I was on 8 prescription meds, I didn't feel well. I was sick all the time, and I was overweight, and and this just really helps me. So, but I wanted to talk about my road trip series, if I could.
Yeah, go for it. It sounds exciting.
Yeah,
we love a road trip.
Aside from Paris, which was my last trip, I've covered 4 states so far here in the States. California, my own home state, from top to bottom, and then Oregon, Washington State, of course, the legal state now, and Colorado, the legal state. I've been to Denver covering them, and I've visited, 10,000 square foot grow ops in Denver. Medicine Man is one of them that I covered with my road trip. And this summer, I bought a 1972 travel trailer. It's a vintage trailer, and I've put it back to the 70s, my era. And I'm going to take it on the coast this summer, the coast of California, a little beach trip with my boogie board in tow. And I'm going to be visiting medicine makers and patients along the way, and do campfire hangouts and formulate a medicated campfire cookbook. And I'm just going to have a really fun time this summer with my road trip series.
Wow, that sounds like heaven.
Yes.
That's the only word for it.
It's my last
a really nice trucking down the California highway, writing about medical marijuana and all things hemp, and having a nice time and regenerating.
Yes. Well, yes. I'm 55 this year, so I'm technically a senior now. And I started out a stoner in the 70s, and now I'm a full-time patient. And So, this trip's kind of a full circle for me.
Wow, fantastic! Well, I bet you're going to get to meet some really interesting characters.
Oh yeah, there are all kinds of people that the face of the cannabis patient is a wide-ranging one. There's everyone from everyone now from children that need it to seniors for arthritis, and everything in between.
Everything in between. It's lovely. Do you remember the old advertising of Benetton, the United Colours of Benetton?
Yes. Really.
I find it's very similar to that. It is. Yes. It's all walks, all life, all colours, all creeds, all race.
And Normal's campaign, the typical stoner, I thought that was brilliant. Because that's true. And when I started doing patient profiles, that's what I wanted to do. Actually, here in Humboldt County, I started doing a series anonymously in a local paper here, the Arcata Eye, called Behind the Curtain. It was a play on words of the redwood curtain, because some growers hang a curtain in their hallway to divide, the back rooms for growing to the rest of the house. And it was putting a face on growers. It was showing that they're all just people. They have day jobs. They subsidize by growing. 1 or 2 rooms doesn't make you a millionaire. And, that series was done about the time Proposition 19 was put on. It failed on the California ballot, sad to say. But at least the conversation was started. And we talk about it more now. It used to be very covert up here, but now it's talked about a little bit more.
I find that as well, Sharon. The more we talk about it, the more we get this out into the conventional place of where people talk, and the more it's opening up. And I feel now it's not a matter of science. The science has been proved. The doctors know that it works. We, the patients, know that it works. It just seems to be now that there is some politicians standing in the way for no particular good reason, I might add. Yeah.
Well, the slowest thing in the world is political,
Well, unfortunately, as you know, there's a lot of people, as Mary Lynn and Al Burns put it, we're patients out of time.
Mm-hmm. That's the organization.
So we don't have the time for the shenanigans of the politicians.
And that's the beauty of the human spirit with this plant, because even in illegal states, people write to me from all over the world now and all over the country, and even in illegal states, I can network and put a note out there, and there's a green underground railroad that helps people. And many people are now moving to legal states for health issues. It's really serious. But if you're in a legal state, the humans, they still are growing this medicine. It's still there.
For sure. We've covered on that subject briefly. We feel that obviously in countries and states where it is legal, the states where it's not legal and the countries where it's not, they're going to see a brain drain.
Mm-hmm.
This happened once before with the colleges, and people will move to those states because, one, they can get their medicine, obviously. Two, they will be able to these states because the tax situation is going to be quite vibrant, as they've just seen in Colorado, an extra 10 million or something into the coffers. So these are the counties and the countries that are going to have a good financial infrastructure. Good financial infrastructure attracts people. You don't go to a poor county.
The really exciting news about the human spirit is, Colorado, they've made so much money this year. They're putting $9 million toward real trials of real research, so people can't say, "Well, we don't have studies in this country." We're gonna do it ourselves, so that's fine.
We're gonna do it ourselves.
Yeah, right.
Yes, exactly. We don't, and again, it seems to be that some of the bigger companies, don't get me on, GW Pharmaceuticals, they've done all this research and are just trying to monetize it for their own benefit, for their own profit. Well, they've got no interest in helping anybody.
When I first started being an activist for environmental issues and local food issues, I went and saw in Southern California Jane Goodall speak. And she inspired me so much because she said, we have to stop looking at what the bad things people are doing and look at the good things people are doing and good things that are happening. You can dog GW and they're under the spray thing, but it's a start. And, I mean, more power to them. And I haven't used the under-the-tongue spray. I know France is still waiting for it. January of this year, their health minister said it was coming, and it's not there yet. So they're
The
waiting
reason being,
for it.
Sue, is it's far too expensive. They want over £550 per 5 grams.
Oh, my God.
That's nearly $700. So, as I say, I am not an advocate of GW Pharmaceuticals. I've done many exposés on them. They're a very corrupt company.
Well, that's a shame. But you know what? Everything's like that. Well, how much was your first VCR, right? $1,500?
Yeah.
Well, that happens too. But I'm just happy to see it out there. It's better than nothing. And I know that's a sad attitude sometimes, but it's...
Well, again, as I say, the situation in the UK is they're criminalising people like myself that can't get access to it, and they're breaking down our doors and putting us in jail, and they're protecting you. And they can grow it and we can't. It's as simple as that. I'm sorry, but GW Pharmaceuticals, in my book, they're a big no-no, and they're not doing any good whatsoever.
And that scares me. I'm afraid to have our right to growing this plant here taken away too, because Canada's like that now. Great Britain's like that. I mean, with legalization might come more ordinances. We see that all the time. More restrictions.
Well, as a journalist, I'd keep an eye if I was you, Sue, on GW, because they're the sort of company that would take your plant away from you without batting an eyelid, so that they're the only dope dealers in town.
Right.
And then they charge what they want for it. Yeah. So, let's move on to them, because I don't like them.
I've also heard, and I haven't researched this or written about it yet, I'm really not a news writer, I'm a features writer. But
anytime you want some good information on them, I'm the man to see.
I just heard about Monsanto in Uruguay doing GMO cannabis in Uruguay. That kind of is disturbing.
Oh, that's rubbish. Don't believe that.
That's rubbish. Okay.
Yeah. I can prove that
scary.
to you.
I asked Josh Stanley about that with Charlotte's Web, because Charlotte's Web is going to be grown there for the world, hopefully. And he was adamant that no, he would not let that become a GMO plant. So
no, you can't GMO hemp seed. They've tried.
Good. Really? I didn't know that, really.
Yeah, a long time ago. Back in about 1997.
And why can't they? Well, it's redundant.
It didn't obey the rules of GM. It basically just didn't work for them. It was already too perfect.
Isn't it redundant, though, to do that, a GMO cannabis plant? Because cannabis, when left out in the open, and hemp especially when left out in the open, doesn't it provide its own pesticide? It's the most disease-resistant, isn't it, plant out there?
It's fantastically... The only real disease that it suffers is man.
Well, we messed up.
Womankind, mainly mankind, and a little bit of womankind, and a little bit of childkind.
Don't get me going on brilliant humans. That's a whole other thing. So anyway, anything else you want to know about my delivery and my daily routine and what I do for medicine?
Obviously, right. Well, tell us a bit. If you're quite open about speaking about the type of form of cancer you had. Is that totally in remission now?
It's totally gone. Yeah.
Thank goodness for that.
I'm criticized because I was never diagnosed. But the thing is, but listen to this though. Because I was never diagnosed, I'm now part of an American Cancer Society 30-year study on prevention. And the only way I could get in that study was not being diagnosed with cancer. And the interesting thing was, my mom grew up on a farm in the 40s where DDT was sprayed, and they said it was good for you. And everyone in her family died of cancer, and my sister had the same kind of breast cancer a few years ago. So the fact that I haven't been diagnosed yet is pretty amazing. So I'm part of this study. And I just filled out my first questionnaire, this huge, long questionnaire about my daily practices, and I totally included cannabis in there. It's like, this is the only thing I do, so that's kind of cool.
It is. That's what we call the silver cloud, isn't it? The silver lining to the cloud. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that might work out very well.
Yeah. Because, but the thyroid menopause thing is a big deal, because nearly 50% of all women in the U.S. Have it. I think I was researching Great Britain because I also write for Weed World UK.
You do. That's a very good magazine, actually.
Yes, I love them. Yeah, I love them. They've been good to me. But anyway, I was researching the numbers in Great Britain, and it's not too far off. It's an environmental illness. Our thyroids are poisoned by toxins, and they stop working, and, that's what sends out hormones throughout our body for digestive and metabolism and emotions. there's a lot of things covered in this. And a lot of people have it that don't know it because, if you start gaining weight and you feel fatigued and you're a little sluggish, there's about 35 symptoms that you could have with thyroid, or maybe up to 85. It's a lot. And people don't notice it, and the doctors keep prescribing, antidepressants and digestive things. And, I have waves of nausea. They could give me a pill for that. Pretty soon you're on 10 meds with this illness that's very common.
All destroying the liver.
Yeah.
Eating away at the system.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as you
the
might
oil
find
every
out,
night. Eating the oil every night helps you sleep. It gets it in your system. Having a tincture every day gets it in your system. But you have to do it every day. It's very proactive.
Yeah. On the juice side of things, so you start the morning regime by juicing up a little bit.
Yes, I juice in the morning. That's my breakfast kind of thing.
That's a fantastic way to start the day. And then you use the tinctures.
Yes, I use the oil at night to sleep.
Yeah.
I have a bum knee. I had knee surgery a couple years ago, and I have a bum knee. And so I need the oil. I mix it with a coconut oil salve that I make, and I mix the strong oil with that, and I apply it topically to my knees. And when I was in Paris, I walked every day, and pain was not an issue, and that's amazing because I should really have chronic pain all over my body from this because it's thrown me. My lower back, my feet, my knees hurt, often. So, this really quells pain to use it topically. And then when I ingest it at night, it helps me sleep, and then that gets in my system and it helps the pain. So pain isn't an issue with me, it's mobility.
So the billion-dollar question is did you carry your meds into France?
Yes, I did. And,
do you have a prescription from your country?
Yeah, I'm a California cannabis patient. I'm a card-carrying Proposition 215 patient. But, it's against the rules for me to take my medicine out of the state. But, I've covered 4 states, and, I've managed to always have medicine with me. I've always managed to always find leaf wherever I am, except in Paris. That was hard. I did buy a little bag, as I said, on the steps of the Sacred Heart Cathedral atop Paris for a very expensive amount of money. But I did need my topical salve with me. All of my lotions, my face cream, my hand cream, my body creams, I've infused all of them with cannabis lotion.
Fantastic.
So all my products are like that. So I have those in kind of unmarked travel things, and I put them in my luggage so they're checked on, But for the RSO coconut oil stuff, the strong stuff, I put that in another kind of container, like an over-the-counter store-bought container. And thank goodness, because, I have pain issues, and I'm not going to take Vicodin. I'm just not going to do it.
No.
So,
again, we're finding this more and more about being stuck in states. I've had Sierra Riddle on, Landon's mother, and again, they're stuck in their state. They can't visit the grandparents because where the grandparents live, it's not a legal state. A good friend of mine, Dr. Beth Fisher, travelled across a few states last week.
Yeah, I know.
She had the same problems because she went through 2 states where it wasn't legal. Now, she doesn't want to break any laws. And again, we're finding this all the time, where it's legal one place and you can't go to another place. It's like, it's our medicine. Because in France, you would have been okay.
Yeah, the thing is, this is my medicine. It's not to get wasted. It's not recreational. No. This is for my health because normally, like I said, I would be on up to 8-10 prescription meds. So this replaced all that. So it's serious for me to keep it in my system. And when I travel, I usually do buses. I do ride shares in cars. I do trains a lot. I mean, I took a train home from Denver because I had, personal care products, not necessarily flour. I know that's the thing that people usually transport is flour, but ironically for me, it's more important that I have a topical salve for my knee. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever medicine works for you is the one that you should be entitled to carry.
Yeah.
Again, that would have been an interesting legal point because where you were, it was legal. It would have been illegal to fly out of the state. So why using American airspace, you was technically illegal.
Yeah.
God knows what's happening to the free space bit where aeroplanes, whether it's legal or not. That's most probably legal because they've never written a law about it. But then when you got to France, technically you would have been illegal, but due to a European law called the Sangat Agreement, you can bring any medicine into Europe that is prescribed by you from your physician from whatever country you've come from, and you can carry 90 days worth. So there had been a really interesting legal network there going on there.
Well, I figured because who I am, and I had such a small amount, and, I don't know. I mean, I know they persecute people that speak out too, so I don't know. All I know is I need to feel okay, and I need this medicine, and I need to do what I need to do, so.
Of course, it's exactly the same for me. I can't live without my medicine. I can go 3 or 4 days without it, but after that, it's just really, why should I?
But for the blending, for the juicing, I can go. I've been up to 2 weeks traveling without leaf, and I ran out of leaf up to 2 weeks or less. And my symptoms start coming back one by one. My digestive first, my bloating. I can't go to the bathroom. Excuse me for saying that. That's part of it. And I get very uncomfortable. And I would probably be 20, 30 pounds overweight without this plant right now. Because it does.
Okay, so we're going to take another break. We're going to go and pay some more advertising bills.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Keep the sponsors happy.
You are listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Please share us with your friends.
If you are in the Portland, Oregon area and are an OMMP card holder, then come down to Nikki's Diggity Dank Market, Portland, Oregon's first and only weekly OMMP market, presented by the Alternative Wellness Center, located at 5241 Southeast 72nd Avenue, 2 blocks south of Foster Boulevard, close to public transportation, held every Sunday 10 a.m. till 7 p.m., connecting quality vendors with patients. Nikki's Diggity Dank Market also has a weekly raffle with products from every vendor, so come down to Nikki's Diggity Dank Market and have fun while connecting with quality vendors and getting great natural medicine. If you are a vendor and want a chance to connect with OMMP patients, you can check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/Alternative Wellness Center or call 971-888-4392. Be sure to register early because space is limited. Nikki's Diggity Dank Market.
In need of a ganja vacation? Blaze away.
Don't criticize it.
Hotbox Jamaica. Chill. Relax and burn all day while watching the amazing ocean view. Listen to the birds. Bathe in the mineral waters of the Ganja River. Munch on tasty Jamaican Rasta food. Take a weed farm tour and hold a meditation. Book this amazing vacation for $420. Get the Sativa Special. 7 nights in Sativa dorms with ganja meals and airport transfer. Check us out at hotboxjamaica.com. That's hotboxjamaica.com. Hotbox Jamaica, a higher meditation vacation.
Indigrow is your source for affordable induction grow lighting. First discovered in 1891 by Nikola Tesla, Indigrow lights deliver 11 years of electronic sunlight to your plants. Indigrow lamps require less than half the power of traditional HID lamps. Converting to Indigrow lights means you'll cut down on your power bill with less lighting. Indigrow lamps also use 5 times less mercury than traditional fluorescent or HID lamps, making Indigrow not only energy efficient but environmentally friendly as well. No more switching out lamps between vegetative and flowering stages. As nature intended, your lights get a steady dose of UV light. That makes your plants grow healthier and stronger. Indigo products are manufactured in San Diego, California, and come with a written 10-year warranty. What Tesla knew, then growers know now, is that Indigo lighting is the cost-effective addition to your victory garden. To learn more or order now, go to inda-grow.com. That's INDA-GRO.com. Or call 877-452-2244 to answer any of your questions. These guys really know lights. Indigo really is your sunlight in a box.
Free? Did you say free? Free hemp? Free hemp? Free hemp video and audio? Free downloads of all the top artists, all the pot artists on planet Earth. Interviews with all the people making the movement, making the hemp movement. It's time for hemp. That's right, world. It's time for hemp. That's right, world. It's time for hemp.
Save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis, cannabis is a very useful weed. Cannabis will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis, cannabis is very good indeed. A miracle to life. Save the fight of trouble and strife. A gift to the world. Let the complete truth be told.
We're back, and while we was off air, Casper informed me of the breaking news that the Drug Enforcement Agency of America has had an uplift, a regrade, a change of names, a facelift. That's the word I'm looking for. And from now on, they're going to be known as the Department of Arsewipes. I don't know how true that is, but I got it from Casper, so it must be true. There you go. Well done, DEA. Good on you guys.
I'm across the pond.
What's it like to be out of a job these days?
Well, you know, they're just doing their job.
They're just doing a job. Yeah, they do an
Their
interesting job.
They're
Yeah.
doing what they're told.
Yeah.
They're following their own rules.
They are. I
Yeah.
met a couple of them actually. What they do is they tend to walk around with bags of things that don't belong to you. They give them to you, which is very nice of them, but then they arrest you for having that article. It's
Well,
like
we've
very
had
bizarre.
We've had some good news regarding the DEA lately here in America. They've been defunded. Well, Congress voted to defund them for raids in legal states. President Obama has yet to sign it. We're hoping he does, but that just happened. So that's hopeful.
That is, yeah. Well, they shouldn't be funded for committing crime, should they?
Right, I know.
That does
Well,
go
they're
against the
following
grain.
their own archaic rules at this point. I do have a really interesting story about the DEA if you want to hear it.
Go for it.
Oh gosh, what's his last name? He's in the medical marijuana program, and the federal government has had since the 70s here in this country. You're aware of it, right?
Yeah.
There was about a dozen or more patients in the 1970s, early 80s that took the country took the federal government to court and said, we are patients, we do need this medicine. And so the medicine was grown in Tennessee at Ole Miss, University of Mississippi, for many, many years, and the patients in this program are still given 300 joints a year. You've seen the pictures, right?
Yeah. He gets a big tin of them, doesn't he?
Right. So Irving, his last name escapes me. Irv, I'm so sorry. He gets these 300, joints a month, and he has, I can't remember his illness even, but he's a CPA in Florida. He owns his own building, and he was sitting in his car at lunchtime smoking a joint, and unbeknownst to him, the DEA had just opened offices up around the corner, smelled this, and his car was surrounded in no time. Now, this happened a few years ago. He's been in that program since the early 80s. Yeah. And he carries with him a binder of his whole trials and all his certificates and all his contacts, so he can show people I'm okay to do this. And all these agents, these young agents, they had no idea who he was. They didn't know about the program. And the more he found out, he found out that in 1993 they stopped training their own agents about this program. So so what I mean is they're only doing what they're told. They're doing this job according to these archaic laws, and things are changing. So,
Yeah, well, again, it's never the foot soldiers, is it? But then the foot soldiers also have to be held responsible for not finding out the job that they're really doing. But let's just say, it is changing.
Police officers, we have LEAP now. You have LEAP over there, law enforcement aid.
Oh, aren't they brilliant? I love LEAP.
And they can't join LEAP until they retire. They can't join LEAP until they aren't police officers anymore. So, as long as you're a police officer, you're following the code of the law, even though the law is, most people don't, more than 60% of U.S. citizens don't agree with it now, but it's still on the books. So I have empathy to a certain degree for these people doing their job in a bad situation.
Okay. So, what's the future hold for you? Where do you go next? What
I'm
doing the road trip?
Yeah, I'm going to continue the road trip series. Pardon?
You got any events coming up or news articles that we can look at?
Yes. I have a fan page on Facebook. It's just Sharon Letts, and you can like my fan page and follow my travels. There's also a Road Trip Good Medicine fan page, specifically about my road trip series, that runs every month in Dope Magazine up in Seattle, Washington, a legal state. And this summer I'm going to, as I said, I have my 1972 South Park travel trailer, and there's an album on Pinterest you can follow. It's just Sharon Letts, and the name of the album is Nesting Stewart, and Stewart is the name of my travel trailer. And I'm going to take him on the road this summer down the coast of California for my road trip series, visiting medicine makers and patients and doing profiles.
Will you be videoing some of that, Sue? Will we be able to look at it online?
Well, that's a really good question. I have a video team. I have a small production team up here in Humboldt that might be doing a little teaser for me. I'm not sure if I'm going to pitch it for a television show or not. That's just in early talks right now.
Well, I'd like to watch it.
Thank you. And I'm going to be developing a medicated campfire cookbook as I go, and I'll be shooting the whole thing and making lots of yummy things at campfire. And hopefully I would like that to be a book. That'd be nice. I'm looking for a book deal for that. And then I'll be blogging. I've asked a couple of online blog sites if they'll host. I'll do essays every week about my experiences on the road. And then those will be put in some blog, and it'll all be announced, on my Facebook pages. So
that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm also on LinkedIn. Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when do you start the trip? Oh, there we go. First, finish up. The next show's about to start. Sharon, we've overrun the time.
Sorry, I hit a wrong button. I hit a wrong button.
Oh, sorry, he hit a wrong button.
Hit a wrong button.
Operator error.
You still got 4 more minutes.
How many minutes do we have now?
Hey.
How many minutes do we have left?
You still have 4 more minutes. My apology.
4 minutes. Wow. So when does the road trip start, Sharon?
It's going to start probably July or August. I'm not sure yet. I'm still. I've been working on the trailer for a couple of months now. And it's looking really good. I'm very excited about it, but I have a few little things to do before I start. And I have to do a little Humboldt County trip first. I'm going to go inland to the river, inland Willow Creek Way, about an hour inland from the coast. That's where everything's grown. I'll do
all I can say is at some point on your road trip, I'd love to have another program with you and get an update as to where you are.
Yeah, let's do it from the road with visuals. That'd be awesome.
Wouldn't it be awesome? We can do that. So, right, we got your Facebook page, we got your web page. Next magazine article, when's that coming up? Who are you writing for next? Do you know? You said something about the dope one.
Magazine's July issue is the travel issue, and it's going to have my Paris stories in there. So my stories from France. I have a personal essay on medicating abroad and my experiences there. And it's also my road trip story, talking about France and hemp and cannabis as medicine, and of course my interview with Fred, who was quite wonderful.
Well, next year, Sue, we're taking over 50 hectares in Dorset, and we're going to be growing hemp down there. So you come and visit us.
Oh gosh, September. I would love.
Not this September, Next September. Book that in for the Harvest Festival.
That would be awesome. I would love
That'd be awesome. And then we show you how you make things in the field, oils and clothes and paper and all the wonderful stuff that you can actually do from this plant. So I'm going to give a couple of big shout outs down to my Hemp Works charity, UK.org. Another one as well, keep your eye on now, Hemp Works Evolution, Brighton. That's a little old shop down there on the main drag as you go into Brighton. And also as well, we've been invited now to do a spot at the Gay Pride on the 7th of August at the end of the World's End pub, which is also on the London Road. So anybody that's in the Brighton area, we'll be down there with the charity and the radio and a few other surprises. So I think that's about it. So what a marvellous guest you've been. Thank you for coming on board.
Thank you for having me.
And we hope to hear from you again very shortly. Yeah.
Yes. Be well.
It's been fun. Thank you so much. Casper, we love you. You're the man.